Hello, Ectosage here on the Sage channel, and today a very nice update came out that added something a lot of us have wanted for quite some time. And if I run over here in this sort of bus station tram thing, it's actually up here. If I turn on my actual personal lights, you can see passenger seats have been added to the game. You can actually go ahead and color line these if you like. So I've pressed P, brought this up, and let's go ahead and have a bit of a blue here, and let's go ahead and make it a bit darker, shall we? Really dark blue, there we go. And same as usual, just middle mouse click, and you can color them. Pretty good, dang cool. And of course, if you float up to them and press T on the interactable area, you are now in it. And I can hold Alt and look around. It's pretty dang cool. I like them a lot. And these are actually available on small ships, as I have right here. You can even see how they place. If I was to go ahead and click and drag this down, and so you can see they place such as this on small ships. They have a pretty big block area. It's a 3x3x3, so notable. And then a single block area for large ships, which I sort of wish they had a double or setup or something. That way you could have multiple people, because that is pretty spaced out, if you ask me. Not so great for a bench or anything like that. But anyway, let's go ahead now and get out of this area so we can look at some of the other very interesting things in the update. Oh, by the way, you cannot, if you press K while you're in this, you can't access anything, but if you press I, brings up the inventory, you can still click and drag and move stuff around inside the ship. I suspect they're going to change that in the future to where you can't actually access the systems of the ship. Because right now you can even go to the control panel like this, and then shut down, let's say, all the lights if you liked. All of a sudden the ship has gotten a bit darker. Anyway, it's pretty cool. Unfortunately, while you're sitting there though, your actual suit lights don't work, and you can't use a tool while you're sitting there. It would be pretty awesome if you could actually sit there and still use a gun or a drill and sort of have a mobile platform like this, just move them out. Anyway, let's go ahead, hop in here, turn all those lights back on with a simple press of a single key now, and let's get out of this area, shall we? And look at some of the other interesting things that have just been added today. And I think I might be a bit towards the left wall. There we go. And there we go, out of the tram station. This is just a strange random ship I built to show off those seats, by the way. As you can see, I got a bunch of seats there, upside down even, to allow a whole grouping of people. And that tram station, by the way, is just sort of for looks on the inside. The outside is, well, it's nothing really. Anyway, another very important thing that is actually far more important than the passenger seats they added today is, if I was to come over here to this contraption, and this actually has a few rotors on it. And now recently they added to where you could control rotors from a single control panel, so we could go over here and let's go ahead and actually put in, not this, actually no, yeah, why not, since we can't actually access the controls. We'll go ahead, take a seat down here in this lovely little passenger seat, press I to open up our inventory, go to control panel, and then I have these arm rotors, and I have them set so that, actually it's not selecting both of them in the group, it should be saying rotor arms that have both. Let's go ahead and save that again, there we go. Now we can set those to reverse, and of course now they're moving like that, just like we've had in the past, right? Well, now they've done something else, which is pretty awesome. So once again, let me press I, go to arm rotors, reverse those again to bring it back up. Pretty awesome. Now, whenever you copy something though, it even copies the rotors. So possibilities have just gone crazy. So let's go let's go ahead, copy this and move it to there. Ta-da! We've now copied out this whole thing. It should have actually been able to line it up perfectly, I'm pretty sure. Let me try this again, the copy thing. Let's actually start from right here, just copy you, and shift you over to right here. There we go. And now, of course, we can merge those together, and actually let's go back to a color I like more than that. And now these two are connected, and of course when we could continue with modular construction as we have done in the past by continuing to copy these, shifting them down, such as this. And just keep on doing that with modular construction. Of course, if we had more advanced pieces, we could do more interesting things than just this little simple thing. And then, of course, if we were to go ahead and attempt to access the controls, you'll see that there's a little bit of a change up in there. Let's go ahead and delete this one. And now, of course, it deletes the whole thing. And land in here. Hop into this panel. I'm going to go into spectator mode now. Then I'm going to buzz my camera over here so that way we can see the whole thing while we are actually still sitting there. Going to press F9 to go ahead and still be able to control my character. I'm going to press I, bring that up, go to here, and now the rotor arms group, of course, it's not only going to be selecting, oh actually no, it's only got some of the rotor arms. So I'm going to go ahead and now add all the rotor arms to it now that exist throughout all these, save, and now if I was to go ahead and open that up and hit reverse on that, voila. So you can have mass construction lines pretty much set up, so pretty dang awesome. By the way, if you don't know, it's F8 to get into the spectator mode. Anyway, let's go ahead and reverse that back the other way, just because it's pretty dang awesome, isn't it? So F9, I, control panel, rotor arms, reverse, and there we go. Pretty damn awesome. That's going to change a lot of stuff. And of course, then you could go to, if I was in control of my character, info, and then convert to ship. And now this whole thing, of course, has been converted to a ship. Unfortunately, by the way, F6 to get back into your actual body. Not exactly any propulsion on this because it wasn't really intended to be converted to ship, but you can indeed see it's no longer snapping to the grid, which means it is, oh god, indeed a ship. And that was pretty funny to throw that and see all those arms spurge out a bit. Pretty cool. Of course, they do have braking on, so it's only with serious force that those arms really start spinning. But this will also be very useful for, let's say, wheeled vehicles, because now, of course, you can set up a wheeled vehicle and then copy it and it would bring the wheels over. Another thing they added today, which is just as important as those, I would say, is in this ship. It's basically the same as the other ship I was in a minute ago, except for now the the seats that we had before are now replaced with cargo containers. And with this ship, you might notice we have the connectors off the side, where in the past I was basically using these to just toss stuff out into a collector on a station or a bigger ship with a refinery. But now, what you can do is fly up to, let's say, this other connector here on this larger station, and watch the little white X on the side of these. Oh, I have to line it up right, don't I? So there we go, and there we go, they turned yellow. And you can see my ship sort of got pulled there. You might not have really been able to tell, but the ship was pulled towards them because they have a magnetic pull. And then I derped pretty hard there and actually broke it off. But luckily, there's another one on the other side so I can actually demonstrate how it's supposed to work without destroying the thing. So let's go ahead, turn this around, line it all up, start maneuvering towards it again. This time, make sure we don't derp like crazy. And there we go. And of course, once again, once I get near, they'll turn yellow and sort of pull each other together. Wow, okay, I'm way off there. Sorry about this, guys. And there, and yellow, and I didn't rotate there, it just pulled. And then to lock these, you can either press K, go into your control panel, of course, and then find it right here. Took me a minute to find that. And then, of course, click lock, and now it's locked, as you can see they've turned green. And now if we try to move, it basically works like a landing gear, except since they're connectors, if I was to go ahead and go to my inventory, you can see now that I have access to everything that is inside that station there, or anything else connected to, and I could drag that from, let's say, filter storage, inventories. So let's say, ooh, just tons of stuff, isn't there? I could drag it from this into the large cargo container on board my actual ship, which is pretty cool. And you see the color coding here means these are on a separate ship or something. So you can see I'm dragging stuff basically instantly from the storage containers in this station here. So you can see it on the left side of your screen there, and bringing it into the storage containers on this ship, which is pretty cool. And then to release, you can of course go do the same thing we did before, which is press K, find the connector, and tell it to unlock. Or you can actually control this the same exact way you do landing gears by pressing P, and then pressing the wrong button and ramming and breaking off. But P will allow you to toggle lock on and off of those, which is pretty dang cool. And also you might have noticed there, let me go ahead and actually reinstall that way I can properly demonstrate this. There we go, repair is complete. And so what you can do is, let me hop back in the cockpit here, you can actually still go ahead and just tell a connector to throw stuff out. So I told it to throw out whatever I had in there, and then the collect all allows it to throw stuff out from any of the containers connected to it. So you know how you can see it's throwing stuff out, which is, well, quite silly to be doing so. Anyway, another thing that we do have, oh, by the way, let me see, we stop here at this speed. They said that they've actually made it so when it throws stuff out, it keeps the speed you're going at. So you can see here, the speed those are going out, they're not like in the past where if you were throwing something out, suddenly it would be hitting against you. It's actually taking the speed we're moving at and adding it to those objects, which is pretty dang awesome. Anyway, let's now stop, and it's still throwing stuff out, so let's go ahead and stop that, because we don't need that doing that all day, do we? Now, another thing they added was the ability to have the refinery automatically pull stuff to it. I believe this was actually here before, but they demonstrated it in their official video, and it's sort of to make it clear that when you connect a mining ship through the connectors now, you could of course have the ores, and they're automatically pulled straight to your refinery by going into your refinery. And so here we go, refinery 2, and you have the use conveyor system turned on. And with that on, as soon as you connect a ship to a station or another ship that does have a refinery, it'll instantly pull any ores you have to that refinery and begin refining them, which is pretty damn cool. And by the way, you can connect a station to a large ship or a small ship, or a small ship to a small ship. It's not just the one I demonstrated here, which was a small ship to a large station. Pretty awesome. Okay, anyway, moving on from that, we do have one last pretty cool thing to show, and to do that, we're going to go to Dr. Mercer's little doctor's office here. It's a walk-in clinic of sorts, and you can see my custom models are still working. This isn't something you automatically get in the game. This is one of my custom models. But I found this works because I had the modified cube blocks file. I copied and pasted it, and before the update came out. And for some reason, it looks like it still loads anything named cube block space dash space copy. So apparently anything named cube block with a space after it is apparently also being loaded, so it's loaded in my custom models. Again, fairly interesting. Anyway, let's go ahead and look what I really came in here to show you. Not just the fact that my custom models still work, which we have another one right here, by the way, still working. Pretty impressive that it still works. But they've added something else. In the previous update, they added the ability to select between an assortment of colors. Now you can press T, and you actually have color sliders here and everything, just like you do with the lights and other stuff, which is pretty damn awesome. So you can go ahead and select all your little colors, and I'm impressed with it. And then at the top here we have this pull down, which I'm suspecting they're going to either give us more choices, or more than likely this is so that we can mod in our own custom textures. So it allows us to switch between textures and maybe even models for the character. Pretty damn awesome. I'm really liking it. Oh yeah, and one last thing that's extremely infuriating. In the past you could, let's say, press number 1, so I've selected the 1 slot down at the bottom there, and then right click on an item, let's say a small reactor, and it would take that slot. Now, no matter what, even though I have 5 pressed, and now I right click, it replaces the final slot. It is infuriating, even if I'm holding down the button. It is so god dang annoying. I'm hoping it's a glitch and not intended. Anyway, that's it guys. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.